Hello again, it's April here and welcome back to another video. Today I've got for you a very quick sketchbook tour. I finally finished this sketchbook that I've been trying to get through for the last year. It actually did take an entire year. To begin with, it is a Stillman and Byrne Zeta Series landscape sketchbook, and it is number 26 at the time. I started September 2021 and I finished today, so September 2022, which is pretty cool. So it took an entire year. The reason why is because the light's a bit funky. One sec. The main reason it took so long is because it's a landscape format, which means when it's open, it's super long. And yeah, I didn't really enjoy the landscape format at all. I did do some paintings like on this one, some drawings where I did try to do like one on one page and one on the other. For a lot of them, I tried to do a full landscape like this. I just didn't like it. I don't like the shape. It was awkward to draw on, especially because I took it out for like lots of plein air drawings when I was on hikes, and I'm happy to be gone with it. So goodbye landscape sketchbook. See you never. This is a lovely little sticker from Plein. It's so cute. It's shiny. I don't know if it's picking it up there. And yes, this is this is it. So September 2021. It looks like this is the one I started, and if this looks familiar at all, I was heavily inspired for this one from Natasha Newton. I think it was when I just found her and I was binging her YouTube videos, and I was also fairly new to landscape drawing at this time, so I was still kind of trying to find my style and find my feet, find the feet with which to draw with. And yeah, I was inspired by Natasha Newton for this one. Definitely not something I would do normally. So yeah, bit of fun. And at the time, I was just using the sketchbook like a normal, well, kind of like a normal sketchbook. I actually bought it to be like a come outside with me and draw while I'm out and about. So most of these drawings are from outside. This here is when we had a quick little stop in the New Forest in Burley when we were waiting for our table to be ready in a restaurant, and I just did this with some watercolor. I think it was actually when I first got some Neocolors. These are some of my first Neocolors that I got, so I was swatching some out. I also got some paint pens. It looks like I got some Caran d'Ache luminance pencils here, and I did a little swatch page, and also I think I used a lot of it for this page here, which is probably my least favorite page. Oh, not my least, my third least favorite page in the book. This one's back inside. I did I think this is Hong Kong Island. It's from a Map Crunch or a Google Maps, and yes, just a quick sketch. And then this is when I actually start taking it out, because I realized at this point I really didn't like it. So this is probably about 5 months later when I started drawing out again. So this is autumn last year. We went to the Jurassic Coast in the south of England, and this is the Needles, I think. Yep. Did it with Tombows and some other random bits. And this is the start of the Lake District. This is when I take it out. The rest of the time I try and take on every walk and do a walk. So I don't know if I'll be able to fit this on camera, but this is kind of like seriously, I'm gonna say hideous. I don't know, that's too harsh. Very messy, very free image I took when I was waiting for Martin to take a photo, and it's like the river. I get up to a waterfall, and there's this huge tree. It's at Rydell, if anyone knows that, in the Lake District. So yep, after doing this, I thought I would definitely pare back, use less materials and yes, less colours, and I really did take that advice. So this is probably either the same day. I think this is the same day because it's at Grasmere, which is on the same walk, and I basically tried to do the complete opposite of this, which was lots of white space, a few lines, some colours to show the mountains, and I really like this one. And all the trees are bare because it's winter. How lovely. I do a lot of experimenting in this sketchbook actually, which is I guess one good thing for it. Some of them really don't turn out well, like with the colours. This is Troutbeck. We went for a walk up Wansfell down to Troutbeck and around, and I sat and I drew some houses here, and I don't quite know what these colours are in the background. I think it's the foot of a mountain, so the red would be the rock. And then this is another little farm from further on in that walk, and I really liked this. It actually is like going up a hill. It's kind of hard to see I did the perspective like super flat, I guess, but there was this wiggly path going all the way up the hill into the distance, which I thought was really cool. So this is from the same walk. It's near the end of the walk. You go through some woods. I can't remember the name of the woods. I wish I'd written them down, but I basically decided to do just pencil and not use anything else. And I actually really like this, how graphical it is. It's just the bottom of the trees and focuses on the river, and yeah, I quite like it. I quite like how blocky it is. Yeah, I remember it did really hurt my fingers and my hands to draw this, because I was quite heavy-handed, like scribbling on the page. This is when I took a little art date with myself, and I went up the hill near our house to the church at the top. There's like a little viewpoint, and the one thing in this I remember what I did actually. This is all done with Crayola, so that is the one thing that's a bit of an experiment on this page. So I did it all with Crayola, which is why it kind of feels weird, and also I did these clouds like circles just to kind of try it out. So yeah, a lot of experimentation in this sketchbook. I think that's a good thing about not liking a sketchbook and wanting to get through it, is you really don't care what you do or how things turn out. This is when we went to Haweswater and we walked up in the fog. So I sat down, Martin was taking a photo. Actually, normally all of these pictures are when Martin's taking a photo and I'm sitting down and drawing. And the fog came in like this. So you can't really see, but here it's all smushy. I tried to go over again in Caran d'Ache and kind of cloud out the mountaintops. Just turned into a big mess, and it was really cold as well that morning. That's another thing I really like about having a sketchbook just for plein air, is that you can remember every sketch you did and how you felt and what the weather was like, and yeah, I think that's really nice. So this is a walk. I can't remember where it was. I think it was that same walk. The sun had come out and we were on the other side of the valley, and I tried to do like a more minimal style again. So you can kind of see on this page I used every colour and every crayon, and then on this side I tried to get away from that and go back towards a more like line with just a few colours. And I really like having all the white space on the edges and just kind of focusing in the middle third. I think that's actually really nice. Like that's the one thing I do like about this sketchbook, is when I found out about using lots of white space, I thought that was pretty cool. So I tried to do something similar here. This is still Haweswater. I can't quite remember where this is. I think it's heading down, looking across some mountains. If I knew the names I would tell you, but I'm not sure. And I also tried, I don't know if you can see this, using the lines again for the clouds. It's pretty interesting, I guess. Pretty interesting effect. So sometimes you try a technique a few times and it works, and then sometimes it doesn't. I think in this case it didn't work out as well as on some of the others, like on this one here where I tried to use lots of white space and then just a few bits of colour. I think this one here, because all the white space is in the middle, it kind of, the effect, you don't really get the effect that I kind of wanted. But this is at the top of Home Fell. It was sunset, and this is the sun going down behind the mountain over here. It was really cold, but it was such a beautiful evening. And we had, I think I bought like some cookies, or I made banana bread or something, and we had it at the top with a thermos of coffee. So it's just little bits like that that you remember. That's really nice, looking back at a plein air sketchbook. So going straight in again with every single thing in my pencil case is this is from the top of I think it's near Buttermere, I think it was Ranadale Knot, where we went for a walk. And what I really loved about this sketch, why I wanted to sketch this, is because there was this field down here, and I had heaps and heaps of rows of fences or hedges that had kind of gridded out the field in between these two lakes here, and something about it just really piqued my interest. But I think I went a little bit heavy-handed with some of the colours here. Alright, we get to the worst page. We get to the worst page. This is, I don't know what I was trying to do, some kind of experiment, like what, I don't understand what this is. These colours and these are like the little pyramid rock piles that were on top of the hill. I did this so fast and it was so cold. I remember I just wanted to not be drawing anymore, and yes, it's my least favourite page. So this here is where I tried to break up the pages. I did this only a few times in this book. This is at the top of Silver How, and here is kind of very, very grey, and I'm not quite sure why I just used a few colours here, but you can see I tried to make the sun come through, and on this side it's a lot more colourful. Oh, this is actually, if I remember, I drew this one standing up. Yeah, I was waiting for Martin and I drew this one standing up, which is why it probably doesn't have much colour on and it's a bit shaky. And then I was like, okay, he's still not finished, so I'll sit down. So I sat down and I drew this one. So they're kind of like next to each other. This is a little bit to the left and this is a little bit to the right of the same image, which is kind of cool. This is another one, Silver How. So these are the two lakes. This is Grasmere and this is Rydell. And it's just really nice when you've been doing a few walks in the same area and you can kind of pop things together. So earlier on in the book, we walked around these two lakes and I did some drawings. So if I just pop back to this one here, so this view, I'm standing on the lake shore looking this way, and then here, this is where I was standing looking this way, and now I'm at the top of the hill looking back. So it's really cool to like piece together all the little places that you've been. And I actually really like this. I didn't like it on the day that I drew it, and I remember complaining to Martin how much I didn't like it, but actually looking back I do, and I actually really like this blue here, so it stands out so well against everything. So these are two drawings done from the same place but on different days. This is at Scout and it's the closest place to our house to kind of go for a walk where you can get a good like elevation. And we sat down. Martin had just bought his watercolor set and he painted the same view as this, and he in watercolor, and I did it in pen and pencil. And I just really love the colors that I chose here. Maybe not the composition. This farm is a lot bigger than it should be, but I really like these trees that are kind of in the wind and the bright orange against the blue. And then this is another day we went up there again to draw, and this is kind of one of those piles of stones that helps people not get lost. But I put on way too much Caran d'Ache Neocolors here, and then I couldn't draw over with it, so it's a bit of a fail, that one. This is my favourite page in the book. I really love the colours, and I love how I did the trees and all the blue and everything. And this is at Felford Park, which is the south end of Lake Windermere. It was when Martin's parents came to stay, and his mum and I sat on the shore, and Martin and his dad went for a paddleboard, and I drew this while we were waiting for them to come back. And yeah, it was just a really nice sunny morning, and nice to just sit down and chill out and do a little bit of drawing. So good memories, good page. So this is at the top of Scout again. This is the same weekend Martin's parents came. He and his dad took his dad's drone out, and I just went up there to draw while they were doing that. This is looking towards kind of the sea, is behind here, and then looking that way is the Lake District, and then down behind these is our village. You can't see it, it's below the cliff, but these are all the fields and everything that we can see out of our window. Ooh, this one shakes it up a little bit. Different colours. I actually really like this one too. I think it's just the colours that I like more than anything. This was at Troutbeck Tongue, and I just liked all the walls going up the hills and everything. Just a quick one. So this is when we went to Elterwater, and there were lots of sleeping ducks on the shore, so I just scribbled them. I thought they were pretty cute. And then this is another walk that we did, Plein, and it was at the top of a valley, and I just kind of turned around towards the cliff edge. There was this fence that went up the cliff edge that I really liked, so I just did this view. There's a lot of rocks here, not really much of a view, but I just wanted to fill this page in, and I thought that was a nice way to do it. This spread here is very heavy on the paint pen. I just got this new paint pen, this very, very dark Prussian blue, and I wanted to try it out with a pink and a green. I do quite like the colour combination. On the day that I drew this, I didn't like it at all. Especially I didn't like how I did these lines here for the grass. But yeah, now that I'm looking at it again, I don't really mind it. We arrived there at sunset and the sun went down behind here and it got very dark. So we went there for long, but this is where all the sleeping ducks were, and I sat under this tree to draw them. So just a little bit of backstory there. I'm almost at the end now, so I don't know if they're becoming a little bit more rushed because I'm coming to the end and I know that the sketchbook's almost finished, but the last few pages do feel a little bit more rushed. This is at Plein. They're 2 images on 2 different pages. This is at the lakeside looking towards, I would love to tell you the names of these, but I've forgotten. And then this is at the top of the valley. So I was sitting and on one side I could see the cliff side, and then towards the other side I could see this mountain here, and I basically tried to abstract it so all the shadow that was coming in because the sun was setting and it was going in all the crevices, and then where all the light was hitting the side. Is, yeah, very different, and I don't really like it, but just, you know, gotta try new things. And this is from the last walk that we did in Eskdale, and at this point I just really wanted to get rid of the sketchbook, so I kind of rushed through these last 3, but I do like the colours that I chose. I decided to take out a bright yellow this time with me because I thought that would pop off the page nicely, and also this pink and a green. I think it's called Parchment. It's one of my favourite paint pen. Just a few colours, and there was a lot of play with light and shadow, so one side of the hill would be really lit, the other side would be in shadow, and I just tried to play with that a little bit. And on the same here is similar. This is the same walk at the pools at the top, and just showing the light hitting the side of the cliff there. This lovely green pool of water, almost looked this colour, it was so beautiful. And then the last one in this spread is also in Eskdale and looking up the valley again. So you can see I tried to show the light here. All of this side was in shadow. And that's it, that is the end. So yeah, you can see that it does get a little bit more rushed towards the end, especially if you look at something like this. This actually took ages. And then this took like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And just some little swatches on the back there, testing out materials as I go. So that was the landscape sketchbook. Pretty much 90%, 95% of it was plein air. And I'm definitely going to take out a new sketchbook with me. This time I'll probably just take out a A5 Royal Talons. I think that might be a little bit nicer to draw on. But let me know what your favourite spread was, and also what do you take out when you go sketching. I'd love to hear it. That's all for me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.